Here is a fabulous Thanksgiving spread for you: chickpea meatloaf, pumpkin soup, sweet potato rolls, mashed potatoes and gravy, chickpea spinach pie, and a decadent salted caramel chocolate pie. This chickpea meatloaf has two different beans, a lot of veggies, and no nuts. There are lots of other options on the blog for meatloaves. There's a lentil quinoa loaf, lentil walnut loaf, and a nut loaf which has no beans or lentils, so choose either of those. Cook the veggies until they're golden. Then add to a food processor with the chickpeas, white beans, the spices and herbs, some oats, some barbecue sauce, and some binding. You don't want the mixture to become too pasty, but at least half of the mixture should have broken down, which will act as a binder for the loaf. Then add in the remaining cooked veggies, some breadcrumbs, press into a lined loaf pan, make your glaze. Bake the loaf for a bit, then take it out and add the glaze and continue to bake until the loaf is nicely set in the middle. Then cool a bit and slice with a really sharp knife and serve. These easy mashed potatoes and gravy are a definite yes on the holiday table. Add potatoes to some cold water in a saucepan and cook over medium-high heat until they're cooked to preference. Then drain. Then mash with the potato ricer and add some salt, pepper, olive oil, thyme, nutmeg, some coconut milk or cashew milk or soy milk, and mix it all up until really nice and fluffy. You can add in some additional flavors such as nutritional yeast or miso for that extra cheesy umami. For the gravy, heat some oil in a skillet, add onion and cook until golden. Then add in your flour and cook to roast the flour a little bit. Then add in the flavors such as soy sauce, stone ground mustard, garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, thyme, and mix it all up. Then add some of the milk and mix so that none of the flour is lumpy, and add in the rest of the milk and broth, and then bring to a simmer until the gravy is smooth and nicely thickened. Add in some nutritional yeast for the extra cheesy flavor and some nutmeg for a fresh flavor profile, and your gravy is ready. Serve it over the mashed potatoes, over the loaf, and generally everything on your plate. For the creamy pumpkin soup, add onion and garlic to your Instant Pot and cook until translucent. Then add in the apples, pumpkin puree, some cayenne or black pepper, and thyme. Add in the vegetable broth and cashews, then close the lid and pressure cook. Blend the soup using an immersion blender or a regular blender until smooth. You can bring the soup to a boil to make it even more thick, and top it with some toasted pepitas and pepper flakes, and that's ready. The chickpea spinach pie is an amazing side to any holiday table and is incredibly popular on the blog for a reason. Add some oil to a skillet, then add in your onion and garlic and cook until golden. Then add in all of your spices and herbs and mix well. Add in your chickpeas and spinach and mix again. Then add in some flour mixed in some non-dairy milk to the chickpea spinach mixture. It makes a creamy base and adds moisture back to the mixture so that it's not crumbly when you bake the pie and slice into it. Add it to your rolled out puff pastry and then place another rolled out puff pastry on top and close the edges and bake. You can also make hand pies instead of one whole big pie. I use Ethiopian Burberry spice blend in this spinach pie, which has cardamom, coriander, chilies. You can use anything else such as garam masala, or you can just use some Italian herbs such as thyme, sage, and basil. Another great side are these sweet potato rolls. They're incredibly moist and soft because of the sweet potato puree. The sweet potato puree does not make them very sweet. They're still pretty mild tasting like a regular dinner roll. You can add in more herbs and garlic to make them a very savory roll, or add in some cinnamon and sugar to make them a sweeter side. Mix the yeast with some warm non-dairy milk and sweet potato puree, then add in a little bit of flour and let this mixture sit for at least an hour so that it makes a really hydrated sponge. And then you add the rest of the flour and salt and make it into a soft dough. You can also add in some herbs if you like. Just bring the mixture together until it's just a slightly sticky dough, then let it sit until it doubles, then divide into equal portions. Then using some flour, just roll them into balls and place in a well-greased baking dish or a cast iron pan, then bake. Brush some melted vegan butter or olive oil on top and the roll's ready for you. For dessert, you definitely want to try this salted date caramel chocolate pie. You can make this into a pie or bars. The pie has a chocolate almond coconut crust with a date caramel middle layer, which is really thick, smooth, and caramelly without the added sugar, and that's topped with a smooth chocolate ganache. For the crust process, the coconut, almond, and dates until the grates break down and the mixture can stick easily. Add in some maple syrup to make it even more sticky and some vanilla extract for flavor. Press it into a greased pie pan. For the filling process, the soaked dates, some smooth nut butter, coconut oil, and non-dairy milk. Process until the mixture is very smooth and creamy. You can add in some flavors such as vanilla extract, add in some more sweetener with some maple syrup if you like. Pour it into the pie pan and even it out with a spatula. The top ganache is really simple. You heat up some full-fat coconut milk, then add in some semi-sweet chocolate chips. Let them sit for a few minutes, then mix them up until well melted and smooth. Then add in some smooth, softened almond butter for some additional volume. Mix it in and pour over your pie. Let this pie chill for a few hours for the best result, then slice and serve. You can of course make my rustic pumpkin pie or the pumpkin pie bars or sweet potato bars. Those are linked in the description below as well. I especially like the pumpkin pie bars because they are much easier than making the entire pie. But this one is just definitely a crowd pleaser. If you make any of these recipes, do tag me on social media. Hope you guys have a safe and wonderful holiday season.